Last time on Colony Confidential.
Never ever get cuffs on your pants, because if you do, you're going to take home some visitors in the cuffs. We don't want no cuffs in the pants, okay? Because you might come home with a roach, or if it's a really good day, maybe a bed bug. You know what I mean? No cuffs, please. Thank you.
Big Red, if you remember when he spoke to us, he spoke about the day that he was naked in the car, basically because roaches were all over him. Good times, got pulled over. Do you remember that story? Don't say no, because it was like a month ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. But you know what? I remember Daisy the dog?
Yeah, our home dog, absolutely.
Yeah, so me and Daisy are out working with Bozo, and we get a call. We got to go to this guy's building. They might have some fleas in it. So go down there. We get down there. The fleas are jumping all over us. We jump back in the truck. We got to get the hell out of there. We get back. We were living on East 31st Street. So I got to go in, tell Bozo, hold on. Tell Peggy, go up in front. I send him in first to take a shower. He comes out. I go in and take a shower. And the friggin' dog is itching. We got to take the dog. We gave the dog fleas. Call the guy back. We said, hey, this is the deal. This is not just a regular job. And I had gotten these boots. I'll say they were a gift. They were like fireman boots. They come up to your hips.
Look at you learning how to say things.
Yeah, I'm smart. Anyhow, we spray these things down, these boots, with chemical, and we went in and took care of them fleas for a nice price. But people go down there to check the meters, from Con Edison and whoever, and the
They
fleas
won't
bit
go
the
back
shit
in.
out, and they ain't going back in until you, who are a very important part of this society, have to go in there and straighten things out. So you got to remember something. Fleas can last a long time without a meal. And if they've been down there 6-7 months without a blood meal, and you show up, guess who's dinner? You. So and they bite you everywhere. So anyhow, just another thing.
So we covered head covering, body covering, foot protection, hand protection. What's next? What's the last thing?
You got to wear eyeglasses.
Yeah,
No,
eye
cover.
protection, right.
And
There's a face shield one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was I interrupting you?
Particularly on termite work, or anytime you're drilling, you want a full, there's like a shield that comes down over your face, your eyes and down. It's okay, but normally, yes, just the regular eyeglasses.
Right, so most of our technicians are given all of this PPE when they start. It's in their vehicle, or for our stationary technicians, it's wherever their home base is, where they have a locker or whatever the case is. Eye protection is usually just goggles. With most of the chemicals that we use today, I don't even know if a face shield even shows up on a label that I use from thinking about it. I don't think it does. I think in certain scenarios when you're applying a pesticide, eye protection will show up. Even the respirator for I'm sure a lot of people still do ULV, ultra low volume applications, also known as fogging. At Colony, if we do one a year, it's a lot. 90% of my staff, although they have all the training on how to do these things, usually it's got to be a really seasoned guy that's been with us for a while that goes on that job. And we had one big job this summer that required ULV, and we tried to, for a job that really required one technician, we might have sent 5, just so they would get the experience of how it works, the PPE, all the way up on how to use that type of machine. So we probably lost money on that job, but we got the technical experience to some of. Correct.
It's priceless. So let me tell you about fogging. My day, we did a lot of it. And I was Sunday, and I was on overtime. I was pissed off that I had to work on Sunday. But anyway, I go to this place, and this man here comes to me, and I said, I can get out over that way? Yeah. I said, okay. So
And you didn't go check it.
No, I didn't check it. I figured, what the hell, he knows what he's doing. It was a restaurant that had been closed by the Board of Health or something. Anyway, I start fogging. I get to this door down the other end. It's bolted shut. So now, I fogged the place with this, I don't know if they still make them, gasoline-driven fogger. Makes a lot of noise, kind of cumbersome. I'm crawling around through this fog trying to get out the door. I start yelling at him, and the kid's telling me, yeah,
Sorry.
guy didn't speak English. All he knew was, yeah, doing these jobs,
Technical difficulties,
you
excuse
need
me.
to take a good look at it before you start.
So, real quick, Skunjil,
What do you want, Spanky?
what's the most common cause of pesticide poisoning for applicators?
Dermal, going through your
Skin
skin.
contact, okay. The biggest exposure for anybody applying pesticides is mixing, because that's when you have the raw pesticide mixing it with water or oil. And that is really where you need to be the most careful. And even though it doesn't say you have to wear gloves when mixing certain chemicals, we still tell our technicians, wear gloves whenever you want. If you want to put a body condom on, put it on, whatever. We want everybody to be safe. We offer 401k and healthcare in case something comes up, 401k. So when you retire, we want you to live a long
Do they
life.
make such things?
Body condoms?
Yeah.
Now, why don't you should investigate that. You also have to remember that there's certain parts of your body that absorb pesticides much faster than others. Your midriff or your navel absorbs it
Groin,
very.
your groin area.
Let's
Gotta
just.
be careful touching
if-
Mr. Happy if your hand's got pesticide on it. Mr. Happy's gonna shrivel up on you if you don't wash them hands.
Well, who knows, right? Who knows what? Well, is there tests on what happens if you touch Mr. Happy?
Yeah.
With a pet? You're a
Yeah,
liar.
it's- yeah,
You're a
years
liar.
ago they did all
You'll
these
get
tests.
poisoned. You'll get poisoned, right? And that's probably would be acute over time. If you're touching
Well,
Mr.
well-
Happy with pesticide hands, there's a whole nother section
I
that
heard
we need
that
to
that
cover for
happened,
you.
but I can't. It came from an unnamed source.
So listen, honestly, so some of the biggest ways that inhalation happens is smoking. Smoking and eating after touching pesticides if you're not wearing gloves. If you're wearing gloves, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Right?
You're pure.
Take the
You're
gloves
pure.
off, throw them out, and still, I would still advise washing your hands after that.
If you're using pesticide and you're using the gloves, you should still be washing your hands 3 or 4 times. And if you're using bait, if some of that bait gets under your fingernails, you better be scraping that stuff out before you eat anything. Because that little bit, ain't gonna bother you. But if you're like me and you might be in the business 50-something years or 30 years or 20 years or 10 years, eventually that stuff builds up.
So what he was saying about rodenticides is the most common thing that I feel like PMPs think are like, I don't gotta wash my hands because it's a dry material. But like he said, it could get under your fingernails or there could be residue on your fingertips, whatever. And that's another thing that a lot of people probably handle that without gloves, which I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think the label allows that.
Sometimes if you're using a cheap glove, the glove is gonna shred. I've seen that several times. You know, with those gloves that doctors use, those cheapos.
Well, that's why we said, well, those are latex gloves, and that's why we
Yeah,
said you
but a
should
lot of guys use
nitrile
them.
and butyl.
Trying to help you out.
One of our favorite formulations that we tell all of our guys, if you're ever doing anything with it, whether the label says respirator or not, we encourage them to wear a respirator, is with a dust formulation. Any dust formulation, even if it's a 25B product.
We still use desiccants.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens if you're using a desiccant a lot? It's gonna dry out the capillaries in your nose, and you're gonna get nosebleeds. So
It depends on what the desiccant is and how it's applied. But if it's a dust, it's the easiest way to inhale it is dust, right? Which is also why you're supposed to apply it in areas where it can't get out and open, because every time somebody hits the floor or when people walk, depending on the airflow in your house, as you walk past the dust, any dust in your house, it goes up and then gets into the airflow. But that slight movement of your feet, or even if you got mice in your house that you're trying to kill with the dust, when the mice run around and then they pick the dust up, and depending on the airflow in your house, it gets in the air and then you inhale it. In any case, dusts are probably what we tell all our guys to be the most careful with. The pesticide labels, signal words, are now different than SDS signal words. We used to have MSDS, now we have SDS. And label signal words are still
they're the key.
danger, warning, caution.
Yeah, once we use usually all caution.
Correct. There's very few that we use. There's still people out there that use the ones that fall under danger. From time to time, we may use something with warning, which would usually be dependent on the fogging materials, but
Well, the danger, you got to look at the danger label, because if it's corrosive, it's gonna have a skull and crossbone on it, no?
Yeah, but either way, you look for the signal word. But SDS changed their signal words, and I think instead of 3, they're down to 2. From the label, at some point, that's going to have to change. So the signal words are assigned to a pesticide based on the highest measure of toxicity. It could be oral, dermal, or inhalation, whichever one is the highest. The effects on the eyes and external injury to the skin. Since they're based on total formulation, certain products may have the same active ingredient. So the active ingredient is the actual piece of that pesticide that's killing the pest. So you could have pesticide A that has fipronil in it and pesticide B that has fipronil in it. But depending on the amount of fipronil in each one will depend on whether or not they fall into danger, warning, or caution. But depending on the formulation of that pesticide as well, if it's a dust, if it's a microencapsulation, all of these factor into that. So anyway, be safe.
That's it?
I mean, for right now, we're gonna.
Listen,
don't you want to eat?
All the joking and everything, we have a good time in what we do. And we're still alive and we make a few dollars. What I want you to understand is read the label and go by what the label tells you. You'll have a healthy and happy experience in pest control. Don't read the label. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. This is an alleged story of a guy that, was making a lot of money for his family. And he was very happy. He was working. They had a nice house. Wife had a beautiful car. Kids went to private schools. And because he didn't take care of himself, he died. His liver rotted out. Lungs were shot. Pesticides. So he was a nice guy. He went to heaven. And he was up in heaven, and he's looking down at his funeral, and he was smiling because everybody's crying, saying nice things about him. What a great guy. Look at that. Oh, they really love me. And then a year later, he looks down again, and he sees his family's at Disneyland. The wife and the kids are there, and he's like happy, but he notices something. There's a guy with his arm around his wife, sucking on her neck, spending his money.
All right, calm down.
This is an alleged story. You know what?
It's bullshit.
Take a lesson from it, okay?
Listen,
What?
you might have to start wearing glasses for these lives so you could read.
Can't you make it bigger?
No.
All right, I got a new set of glasses. I'll bring them from now.
Thank you. Jesus, suffering Jesus. Yo, do you know that there's certain things on YouTube, people making 6 figures eating stuff? We should try with Asia. You know who'd be great at that? Marty Katz.
Oh, yeah, but they...
Marty!
But they'd be spit all over the screen.
It doesn't matter. I'll buy a friggin' protector. If we could get 6 figures and Marty eating and chomping and talking, you forget about it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Marty, I know you thought pest control was your calling, but we have your natural...
You're a star. Marty, you're a star. We're going to make you a star. Martin Cat. What's his middle name?
It doesn't matter. I can see it now. We'll get the guy from the BBC, and he'll just talk about Martin Katz and his
what was that
Martin
guy?
Katz in his natural environment.
No, what was that stage name they gave him?
Dirk Diggler.
Yeah, Dirk Diggler. Marty, your new name is Dirk Diggler.
That name's like circa 2007 when Marty showed up with that Dirk Diggler outfit to the Christmas. Oh my goodness.
It ain't a party without Marty.
No, that's true.
Ain't no party without Marty, buddy.
But guys your age there should be. So here's what we should all come up with. We need to create an app for human beings above the age of 55 on any social media, where we need to create lifelines when they're gonna do something stupid. You could be like, is this dumb what I'm about to do right now? And your kids could be like, absolutely, don't do it.
You know what? That takes away all the fun.
Okay, if you say so.
After spending years, it's always trying to do the right thing. It's nice to not be politically correct. I embrace it. I recommend it. What'd you see? Did you see the honeymooners this weekend?
No, but you just sound like that all the time. I don't say anything out of the ordinary while I'm about to try and close this, okay? Because you might say some wild shit and we get in trouble.
I didn't say goodbye to Mr. and Mrs. America.
It's okay.
No, it ain't okay. Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea, this is Ed Sheehan thanking you for listening in. And we'll be coming back pretty soon with another episode. If you learned something today, I'm happy. If you got something you want to add, let us know. Once again, thank you for tuning in. And until we meet again, God bless you.